Joining us now here at the Bloomfield Hills Challenger, our last man through to round two of the singles draw, and a man who enters the week at a new career high of 146 in the ATP singles rankings. It's our old friend, August Holmgren. August, first of all, it is good to see you. It has been far too long. Congratulations on the victory today. Let's start there. Talk me through the match, what you did well, and how you feel coming out of match one here in Bloomfield Hills.
Yeah, well, first of all, good to see you again, Alex. It's been a couple of years. I feel good. I was a little bit nervous coming out. It's always a challenge to play a new week after a good result. So I'm really happy with the way I dealt with the match today. There it is. It's obviously a great player. He's great defensive skill set. So I knew that I had to be taking charge as much as I could right from the first ball, and I thought I succeeded with that really, really well, especially coming out with some big second serve returns in his first opening game. So I'm very pleased with the performance today.
No, it was impressive to see, and from the start, again, you got off to that quick lead, and when you're able to front run like that, how does that open things up for the rest of the match? It felt like set number two, you're just kind of, lingering, looming in every service game, that opportunity to be the aggressor. Do you feel that out on court when you're able to get off to that sort of quick start?
Yeah, I feel it definitely gives me some leeway to be even more aggressive, and I just think that I can put a lot of pressure on my opponents the freer I play, especially with the freedom I have behind my own service games with getting a few free points here and there, which just makes it a little bit more challenging. I know from my opponents to feel like they have to do something extra to get that break. So it's always nice to be front running in the match, yeah.
No, and again, you did it particularly well today, and you mentioned it coming off of the success you had not only last week winning the Challenger title in Granby, but of course the Wimbledon third round appearance as well. Grass courts, Canada, here in Michigan. Talk me through the transition to go through three distinct places, and just again, I'm sure the mind, the body clock is all over the world right now. How have you dealt with this sort of run, and how would you assess your level through all of this success?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of attention after the Wimbledon run. I thought I have some very good people around me that helps me stay grounded, helps me keep me on the right track to focus on the right things, on continuing with my player identity, not trying to all of a sudden do something extraordinary just because I had some good results here and there. Nothing changes. I'm still the same player that I was the week before Wimbledon when I lost the first round of qualies against Hugo Blanchet. So it's just the difference is so small in a lot of the matches. What does help with this run is the confidence. There's nothing to I forget the word, but it's just so important to play the matches and play the big moments with a lot of confidence, to trust in my own abilities and what I'm trying to do. Because if I have no hesitation, it's a bigger chance that it's going to work out.
No, we've seen that, especially with your aggressive game style. When you are taking big cuts and landing it, good luck to any opponent that you face. And, through all of that, I know you had Ryan, you had Funk out at Wimbledon. A little upset I didn't get the invite, but we'll worry about that now. But this time you've got Seb Ray here with you, and I'm curious to have him back in your tennis circle and to be traveling him here this week, with him here this week. What that means to you, and will he be part of the team moving forward here in this United States run?
I'm actually first and foremost here with Guy Osorio, my old teammate, and it was a really lucky coincidence that Seb can make it down here as well. I'm so happy to have both of them here. But I agreed to travel here and to Lexington with Guy. My old coaches back at home, they couldn't make it work for this trip, so it's so cool to have my old teammate here who can keep me honest on with the things that I'm trying to do. We had a good meeting this morning with one of my coaches back home to kind of give him a briefing of what we want him to help me with these weeks.
No, evidently it worked. So far so good. And I mentioned the career high rankings wise. I know that's not something you're constantly monitoring day in, day out, but with where you are, 144, what does that do to your schedule moving forward? I mean, you were already able to play challengers, obviously, before this Wimbledon success, Granby last week, but what does that schedule look like the remainder of this summer, obviously leading into the U.S. Open?
Right now, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Well, I have 125 points to defend in 2 weeks. Last year, I had a really, really good summer or a month, and I didn't quite manage to capitalize on that from a point standpoint. Now, again, I've had a couple good weeks. My main goal is to keep up this competitive intensity in my matches, regardless of whether or not I win. And so, we'll see where I'm at ranking-wise after the U.S. Open, and if my plans for the fall needs to be a little bit more catered towards the ATP tournaments, or if I keep playing the Challenger tournaments. But regardless, the level is so high in every match that it doesn't really matter from a, match competitiveness standpoint.
No, I mean, it's all about your level, clearly, and that level is delivering right now. And, you sort of alluded to this earlier. All the attention that has come with Wimbledon round 3, and again, you sort of become one of the faces of college tennis in a time when a bunch of guys with college ties were having massive Wimbledon runs. What's this been like for you? I'm sure it has to be somewhat enjoyable to see that paycheck land in the bank account, but beyond that, even just to, the press and everyone who's paying attention to you now, what has this 3-week whirlwind been like?
Well, I mean, the good answer is that I'm not playing for the money, right? but I did have to sit down when I saw it on my bank account a couple days ago. It is, it's a big honor to get this much attention and have this many people celebrate my accomplishment. It's a little bit funny to say my accomplishment and I lose third round of a tournament, right? And it goes to show that it's because it's a surprise, right? That's why it gets so much attention. But I'm really happy to have so much support. I've gotten hundreds of messages from pretty much everyone I've ever met congratulating me, and I feel very fortunate to have so much support.
Yeah, well, justifiably so. Again, it's been a run that has excited everyone. My last 2 questions for you before I let you go. Just curious, I want to check in, wondering, a year later, where things are with stringing and tension-wise. What are you currently playing with in your rackets? Does it change week in, week out, depending on where you are?
Yeah, well, I actually just changed rackets to the blade. I got a little bit more power now from going from the Pro Staff. I use...
It's working for what it's working. Yeah.
I think so, too. I'm using a 4G Rough Luxilon with 22 kilos.
Ooh, okay, so like roughly 45, 6 pounds, something in that range?
Yeah, 22 times 2.2.
Yeah. Well,
Something like that.
Smarter people do that math.
Yeah, I think you're right, 45.
And do you adjust week in, week out, just depending on where you are with that tension, or less so?
Less so. I'll string a racket a kilo higher or a kilo lower, depending on the weather. This week I'll probably have an emergency racket on 23 in case it gets super hot and I just can't control the ball. But besides that, I stay pretty consistent.
I like to see that. Obviously, it's working. My last question for you, and I apologize because it's kind of putting you on the spot for a big question, but we talk so often about growing the game in this sport. How do we grow tennis moving forward? I'm curious if there's something you think we in the media, especially after this blitz of attention, could be doing better, and if you think there's something maybe players could be doing better as well to help grow this sport moving forward.
When we talk about growing the sport, my hope for tennis in the future is to have more people live off of playing tennis. I'm a big fan of the Baseline project that the ATP has launched. And my hope for the future is that we can have even more players being included in that. So I think that to have more attention on that and more attention on if we can get more players enrolled in that. Currently there's 250 players, or that's the spot where you get to be part of that. If there could be 500 or 1,000 players in the world, I think it's a little bit crazy that you can be the 900 best tennis player in the world and be struggling financially. I mean, if you're the 500 or 900 best, that's a tough word for me.
For sure.
Best football player. Yeah, basketball player. There's so much attention in tennis. There's so much money, and you just have to be so good to be a professional tennis player that it just seems a little bit sad that you play 20 plus years and it's hard to make a living.
I think we all would agree with that, and certainly, again, to see the ATP making progress, steps in the right direction. But speaking of steps in the right direction, it's not just this past month, but obviously it's always a pleasure to get the chance to watch your success, and we're rooting for you always, August. So I appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on the victory today.
Thank you very much.